Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This week we are going to be reviewing the Pipgenius robot. I was able to use it for a total of 3 days, and we'll just be going over the results I obtained during those 3 days and what settings I was using. So after using it for 3 days, I found the indicators that the robot was using in order to place its trades. It was using the 2 RSI, a 10 moving average and the 200 moving average. So the way that the robot works is that if you are below the 200 moving average and above the 10 moving average, and your RSI is above the 70 region, then it will place a sell trade. And alternatively, if you are above the 200 moving average, you would need to be below the 10 moving average and below the 30 period of the RSI. So I'll just show you a demonstration of when it places its trades. Okay, so at this point the trade has been placed. As you can see that the chart has moved above the 10 moving average, and since we are below the 200 moving average and our RSI is above that 70 region, the robot has placed a sell trade. And the sell trade will be for a take profit of around 1300 pips. What you'll also be able to see is that the robot didn't only place one trade, it placed 3 trades, but the other 2 are limits. So I can show you over here. It places a sell stop and a sell limit on either side of the already placed sell trade. So this way it's able to compound on its losses, so that if the chart does move to a higher region, it places another sell trade. So in this way it's sort of a martingale strategy, but with using other indicators to support the trades. So yes, it does open multiple trades on the same pair, but it usually doesn't open more than 4 trades per pair. It does, however, increase the lot size after a bit of time. So it will initially place a 0.01 as a limit for the first one, and then as that limit is broken, it will place another one at 0.2, 0.03, 0.04 and so on. But it is all spaced out, so that means that you aren't entering trades all the time. It has to get to your sell limit or your sell stop for another trade to be entered. And these are generally well spaced out. As you can see over here, the next trade is only in 2000 pips in the opposite direction. So we're just going to let this trade play out so you can see where the take profit is set. Just note that the robot will have an automatic take profit and stop loss, meaning that you won't see it on the chart being placed, but it will take effect like right there. That trade closed on its own. And if we take a look at the results, it closed at around $15 of profit, which is around 1400 pips. It's not set to around 1300, but that's the general area. When you initially set up this robot, just open it on the 1 hour Euro USD pair. It will automatically open itself up on the other pairs. So if you choose it to open on 4 pairs, the pairs to open on is Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD USD and Euro GBP. You only ever need to open it on Euro USD for it to open on the other charts. And it normally scans through the daily chart, so even if you open up on the 1 hour chart, it'll still scan on the daily chart for its entries. So now that you know how the robot works, let's get into the results that I experienced during the previous week of trading with this robot. So over here you'll see all of the results. I left the robot running for a total of 3 days. In those 3 days, it placed quite a few trades because of the sort of martingale-like strategy it was using. But from what we could see is that most of the trades were profitable. We had a 5,272 Rand profit with a total loss of 531 Rand. The highest winning trade was 404 Rand, the highest loss was 82 Rand, and the maximum drawdown that was experienced at any point in time was around 700 Rand, and the highest lot that was used was 0.04. So this robot is quite a stable robot. It doesn't automatically use a lot size of 1.00 randomly. It does only go up by one increment after every few trades, so it is also relatively safe. The drawdown being 700 and the total profit being 5,272 also indicates this. Your drawdown only comes out to 13% of your total profit that you could get. So say you were using a 1,500 Rand account, your drawdown would be only half of your account, but you would stand to gain around a 351% increase of your account. So for the current settings that I was using, which was the default settings, I would recommend using an account of around 1,500 Rand, just in case your drawdown does get to around 700 or maybe even 1,000 Rand. You still have a bit of margin to work with, but there is a way to limit the amount of trades that are taken. Let me just show you the amount of trades that can be taken within 3 days. So as you can see over here, there's quite a few that were opened over those few days, and over here you will see all of the limits that were set. It's not always a sell limit, it will be a buy limit, the buy stop, sell stop, and etc. depending on the currency pair. So as you'll also notice, there are multiple different currencies that are here, and I will explain that right now. So you'll see on the left hand corner over here that there are quite a few pairs available. So when opening up the properties of the robot, you can see the amount of currency pairs that it scans. So once you add it to one chart, it will open itself up on another 28 currency pairs. So you can set this value to whatever you'd like it to be. So if you only wanted to scan 4 pairs, you can say 4 pairs and it will only scan 4. That way you will have less trades occurring. So if you don't feel comfortable with trading with that many pairs, you are able to set the amount to 4 pairs. And you can also change the amount of space in between when it sets its sell limit, sell stop, buy limit, and so on. This number over here, 8, means that it will spread itself between 80 pips. So if you are like me, you don't want it on such a low number, you want it on a bit of a higher number. You can set this number to something like 25, which gives you a space of 250 pips. That will also lower the amount of trades that are opened on a single chart and make your results a bit more stable than what I was getting, since it's a bit unreasonable to leave a robot running for 3 days and gain a profit of 5,000 Rand without expecting the drawdown to be a bit high. I think for the past week I was just a bit lucky at getting only 700 Rand drawdown, but I think with the sort of strategy that it's using, it could easily be more than 1,000 Rand drawdown. So just be wary of that when you are running it on its default settings, where it is opening on 20 plus pairs. So the rating that I would give this robot is an 8.5 out of 10. There aren't too many bad aspects about the robot, and all of the good ones make it quite a stable robot to be using. So the good aspects about it is that you can set the amount of currency pairs that you want it to be opening on. So you don't need to stick with the 28 pairs, you can change it out to 4 or lower if you feel more comfortable with that. The robot is backed up by indicators which provide reasons for why the robot is entering a trade. It's not just placing trades left, right and center and using a martingale strategy to try and cover its losses when it moves in the wrong direction. The trades only open when certain criteria are met. The robot does have a automatic take profit and stop loss setting, which will help you when you take your eyes off of the chart or you want it to just run in the background. So this sort of robot is good for using a VPS. The negative aspects about the robot would be that if you do take your eyes off of it, it could place quite a few trades if you were using the default settings. That can be adjusted, however most people don't had the time to adjust it to their preference, and we'll just use the default settings itself. So when you do use the default settings, it can open quite a few trades like I showed you before. The take profit that the robot uses is around 1300 pips as mentioned before, and for some people that's quite high, such as myself. Personally, I did not let it get to the take profit before closing. As soon as I saw that the charts had moved to a take profit of over 1,000, and I closed them myself, because I think that you should always try to close your profits when you are the most comfortable with them, and around the 1,000 was when I was the most comfortable with it. But you could just leave it to get to that 1,300 pip profit if you so choose. But if you don't, there are some handy buttons on the left hand side. If you press close everything, it closes everything, and the rest of them are also self-explanatory. So let's move on to the process of downloading the robot. So if you move on to how to download the robot, all you need to do is click the link in the description, and it will be the description of this video. I know that in the past I used to place the links under other videos, and that seems to have confused a bit of people, so I won't be moving those around, but I will place the link to the Google Drive right underneath this video, so you won't have to look around for it. And all you'll need to do is click on the Pipgenius folder, and then this is where you'll find the expert advisor itself, and the indicator that we'll be using is this one. This will just automatically apply the moving averages, the RSI, and it will also allow you to use those buttons to control your trading. Thank you for watching this week's video. Expect more in the future. Goodbye.